This one's for the football nerds. Today, I, keeper of knowledge, Brandon Perna, will enlighten you with some wild NFL stats and accomplishments that seem too crazy to be true. Shout out to my moderator, Jory, for linking me to this Josh Jacobs stat that I'm about to share with you from the NFL Reddit. I love shit like this. You love shit? Yes, I do. Josh Jacobs, now a proud member of the Green Bay Packers.
It's definitely been different.
Has played in the NFL for 5 full seasons. He's carried the ball 1,305 times in that span, won the rushing crown in 2022 with 1,653 yards, with 12 rushing touchdowns that season, but in that span has never once scored a receiving touchdown. Antonio Pierce, Josh McDaniel, Rich Bisaccia, John Gruden, not a single one of his coaches dialed up a successful screen pass for a TD, a swing pass for a TD, or coached their QB to hit a check down in the red zone. More shockingly, Josh Jacobs has 197 career receptions for 1,448 yards. He averages 7.4 yards per catch, and still has never seen the glory that be a receiving TD. He even had 5 receiving touchdowns in his last 2 seasons at Alabama.
One of the first things I asked when I came here, I'm like, man, can I catch the ball more? Just because I feel like I showcased it a lot, in college.
He's never had an NFL quarterback, though, as good as Jordan Love, so I think that changes this season. Look, I've got a lot more of these football anomalies to break down today, so dear God, please subscribe. YouTube told me that if I had 100,000 subs in one day, they will send me a $100 Chili's gift card. And guys, I'm hungry. I am really hungry for some barbecue sauce.
I got my baby back ribs.
Also, we have these posters available in the Teespring store below, our Derpy posters. I ordered my first one. I haven't checked it out. I haven't done a quality control check yet. So if you want to take that risk, just know the upcoming season of the Derp available. Benchwarmer Sports! Let's stick with bizarre running back stats for a minute here. My man, Mr. Colorado himself, Philip Lindsay, who played 5 seasons in the NFL, never fumbled the rock. The dude had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons to start his career after going undrafted out of the Deion Sanders-less Colorado.
The Colorado native is the first undrafted rookie to ever crack the list.
Carried the football 637 times and never fumbled, which is the most NFL career carries without dropping the ball. Philip Lindsay has more career fumble recoveries than fumbles. 2-0. The irony is, Lindsay was replaced in Denver by Melvin Gordon, who fumbled the ball more than Russell Wilson was memed for saying, "Let's ride."
Oh, look at this run! He fumbled! He fumbled!
The Dolphins, a team Philip Lindsay played 4 games with. The 2019 Miami Dolphins were under first-year head coach Brian Flores. Quarterback Josh Rosen actually started 3 games for them that season. But the king of off-season birthday cake, Ryan Fitzpatrick, got the majority of the starts with 13. Fitzmagic had an okay year, 3,500 passing yards, 20 TDs, and 243 rushing yards. The Miami Dolphins put up 350 rushing yards alone against the Denver Broncos in 1 game last season in that 70 steamer. I mention that to 1, show how far the Dolphins have come, and 2, showcase how absolutely absurd it is that Ryan Fitzpatrick was the Dolphins' leading rusher in 2019 with 243 rushing yards. His longest run of the season, 20 yards. The Dolphins' longest run of the season, 27 yards. Their backfield consisted of Mark Walton, whoever the fuck that is, who churned out the second most yards with 201, Kenyon Drake, Patrick Laird, Kalen Ballage, Myles Gaskin, Albert Wilson, and Samaje Perine. Obviously, numerous factors contributed to this statistical embarrassment. Injuries. Mark Walton got suspended that season. Kenyon Drake started the year as a Cardinal. Patrick Laird was white. all obstacles for the running backs, but an opportunity for Fitzmagic to cement himself in NFL history as the Dolphins' 2019 rushing champion. Last year in 2023, the Dolphins had 2,308 total rushing yards, which is twice as many as they had in 2019. Now, I do not like or trust magicians, but let's stick with Fitzmagic because I like him. Ryan Fitzpatrick is also the only quarterback in New York Jets history to have thrown 30 touchdowns in a season. I'm assuming a healthy Aaron Rodgers will break that record this year, but I kind of hope he doesn't. Fitz did that back in the magical 2015 season with 31 TDs. It's also Fitzmagic's only season with at least 30 passing touchdowns, and receiver Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker combined for 189 receptions, 2,500 yards, and 26 of those Fitzpatrick TDs. Ryan Fitzpatrick may be one of the most hot and cold quarterbacks to ever play the game because he is also tied with Dan Marino and Peyton Manning with the most 400-yard passing games in a single season. That's right, Fitzpatrick, Manning, Marino. Fitzpatrick and Dak Prescott are also the only quarterbacks who have ever thrown for at least 400 yards in 3 straight games. But Fitzpatrick did that with the Buccaneers back in 2018. Now, Cam Newton threw for 400 yards in his first 2 NFL games and then never did it again. Joe Namath is the only Jets QB with a 4,000-yard passing season. And there's another unbelievable stat. Joe Namath is the first 4,000-yard passer in NFL history. He did that back in 1967 in a 14-game season, rejuvenated by the summer of love.
I don't wear pantyhose, but if beauty mist can make my legs look good, imagine what they'll do for yours.
His touchdowns and interceptions were identical to Peyton Manning's rookie season, 26 passing TDs to 28 interceptions. So, the New York Jets have gone 56 years without a single quarterback passing for more than 4,000 yards. I hope for Jets fans' sake, Aaron Rodgers changes that. Rodgers has 10 4,000-yard passing seasons, which is 10 more than any Bears QB ever. That's right. I think it's common knowledge here, right? In the world of sports, YouTube knowledge, that the Bears are the only NFL franchise to never have a 4,000-yard passer, right? To make that statistical anomaly more embarrassing, Chicago had 8 years with quarterback Jay Cutler, who had 4,500 passing yards in Denver the season before he was traded to Chicago. Cutler was the perfect quarterback to get Chicago 4,000 passing yards in a season. A gunslinger who didn't give a shit. It doesn't mean it's a good season, okay? 4,000 yards. But they should have let Jay frickin' rip it. Cutler threw it 616 times in Denver that final season. 561 passing attempts was the most he was afforded while in Chicago, and that had him less than 200 yards away from breaking the lifetime drought. Maybe Caleb Williams can join Cam Newton, Andrew Luck, and Jameis Winston as first overall picks to also throw for 4,000 yards during their rookie season. That seems like the most unlikely thing to happen for a Bears quarterback, but if anybody can do it, well, maybe Caleb can. One of my favorite stats on this list belongs to second overall pick Marcus Mariota. Before he became a guy you're happy to have as your backup on your roster, he was one of the most intriguing QB prospects entering the league, and on September 13th, in his first game ever, Mariota became the youngest QB in NFL history to obtain a perfect passer rating of 158.3. He's also the only quarterback in NFL history to have a perfect passer rating in his first start. Only Drew Bledsoe and RG3 had perfect passer ratings at any time in their rookie seasons. Herbert, Stroud, none of the guys that I just referenced could do that. After that game, though, Marcus Mariota has never had another perfect passer rating, but he's gotten into the 140s on 3 separate occasions. One of the most unbelievable stats belongs to former Cowboys kicker Brett Maher. And no, it's not his 4 missed extra points in that playoff game against the Buccaneers. That's what he's remembered for, though. I'll never forget the look on his face after he shanked the 4th PAT. It's the same look I have every time the Chiefs win another Super Bowl. A mix of disbelief and sheer horror. Like, how is this actually happening again? The unbelievable stat is not that Brett Maher wasn't cut after that game. It's that Maher has made more 60-plus yard field goals than any other kicker in NFL history with 4. Justin Tucker has the longest field goal ever made at 66 yards, but he's just 2-9 on 60-plus yard attempts. Matt Prater now has 3 60-plus yard field goals to his name. He's 3 for 5 in his career. In fact, Brett Maher has never missed a 60-plus yard field goal. And I don't know if that's harder to accomplish than the Vikings giving up 4 60-plus yard field goals within a calendar year, which happened last season. Alvin Kamara, who tied Ernie Nevers for the most rushing touchdowns on Christmas of 2020 with 6 in a single game, has an even more bizarre accomplishment, if you can call it that. Yes, technically, he's the only player to get arrested at the Pro Bowl or whatever, but Kamara is such a dual threat out of the backfield that with his 10,048 scrimmage yards, Kamara has never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. That blew my fucking mind. So Alvin Kamara scored 6 rushing touchdowns in a single game in 2020, but in that same season did not have 1,000 rushing yards. Holy crap. Another dual threat, and not just because he always carries a gun around and challenges people to duels, is Christian McCaffrey, who's the only 49ers running back to have more than 10 rushing touchdowns in a season. That's surprising. He started his career in Carolina, of course, a franchise that has never had back-to-back winning seasons. That's a team with 2 Super Bowl appearances. But wait, there's more. Holy fuck, Carolina, I love you. Gone to Carolina in my mind. Sweet Carolina. And Good Charlotte. Whatever the fuck they sing for Carolina references. What was I saying? The Panthers. They've never had back-to-back winning seasons, but they have also won the NFC South 3 years in a row. Now that sounds impossible, doesn't it?
Inconceivable.
2013, Carolina finishes 12-4, a season they started 1-3 but went on an 11-1 tear thanks to Luke Kuechly earning Defensive Player of the Year honors. Jump to 2015, Cam Newton wins MVP, leads the Panthers to a 15-1 record until Von Miller and the Broncos ice them in the Super Bowl. So what happened in between 2013 and 2015? If you said the year 2014, you're not that dumb. But in 2014, the Panthers, with a 7-8-1 record, won the division as well. A tie against the Bengals in Week 6 gave them the edge over the Saints, who were 7-9 that year, and Carolina won a wild card game as well. 3 first-place finishes in a row in the division for the Panthers, but not 3 winning seasons in a row. Zach Wilson defeated the Philadelphia Eagles as the Jets starting quarterback last season 20-14 in October. And he did it without throwing a single touchdown or for more than 200 yards. Holy shit, good job, Zach. Damn, that's impressive. That is an anomaly. No, there's more? I was just happy Zachy won a game. Oh, okay, Zach. Zach is the only Jets quarterback to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles. Ever! The teams have only played 13 times. Joe Namath never played the Eagles while he was a Jet, and Glenn Foley's 1996 Jets lost by a single point, even though Foley threw 4 picks. You may have seen this one floating around the sports world this week. Eli Manning has just 5 total career passing touchdowns in 8 games against the Minnesota Vikings. He also threw 5 pick sixes in those games. 15 total interceptions against the Vikings in his career. He had 3 pick sixes in 1 game against them in 2007, the same year he won the Super Bowl. So he finished his career with 5 touchdown passes to the Vikings and 5 touchdown passes against them. That's how one achieves balance in the force. Montez Sweat, last season, 2023, had 6.5 sacks for the Commanders before getting traded to the Chicago Bears, where he notched another 6 sacks. A great trade for the Bears, by the way. And while 12.5 sacks is pretty good, it's certainly not extraordinary. The fact that Sweat finished the season as both the Commanders and the Bears sack leader is extraordinarily extraordinary. Do you say extraordinarily or extraordinary? And do they mean the same thing? Anyway, he's the only player to ever do that. The Cleveland Browns are the only NFL team that has never had a receiver with at least 100 receptions in a season. Their leading guy is Ozzie Newsome with 89. Even the Bears had Brandon Marshall catch well over 100 passes in a single season. And finally, I'll leave you one that will turn your little dick inside out. Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh has more career rushing yards than running back Bo Jackson. Harbaugh played quarterback for the Bears. Yes, never throwing for 4,000 yards. And of course the Colts for the majority of his career. And he racked up 2,787 rushing yards. Bo Jackson, who many consider one of the greatest athletes in human history, had 4 seasons with the Raiders, 38 games, 23 starts, 515 rushing attempts, a handful of insane highlights, and 2,782 rushing yards. 5 fewer than Jim Harbaugh, making Bo Jackson the most overrated running back in NFL history in my eyes. I'm just kidding, Bo. You do know. But let's just say your ability to lord this stupid stat over guys named Bo, which seems really oddly specific, is over Jim. Bo Nix is coming for that record, and he's gonna take it from ya. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. There's more of this shit out there, trust me, and I can make another video, but only if this one is very, very well received. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube.